new product, simply a derivative, as it were, where the emphasis and the targeting would be more to a, if you like, a B2C audience, a consumer, rather than the expert statistician type follower. It's very interesting. Post CV19, we have recovered a very large part of our customer base because they are predicated on statistics, information, knowledge of the clubs and the players, and they're not really therefore that phase that the stadium is not going to be full of spectators, or indeed that they can't go along to the club. They take a much more clinical, informed, statistical approach. If you are a soft leisure product, then until such time as those people themselves can go back to attending home games, then they're not motivated to re-engage in that way.
You have had past experience with a Premier League club, with West Ham. Do you think that counted in this deal with Leeds United?
Well, it certainly did. Very quickly, anecdotally, I shared a car in Beijing a number of years ago with the then chief executive of the Premier League, and he was very complimentary as to how we as a company had conducted ourselves within the Premier League, and he obviously was comparing us with the whole ambit of sponsorship in the league. So we came with a very good track record. Football, particularly the Premier League, is a very large business as well as being a sport, and they have their own network of information. So we came certainly highly regarded, highly recommended, and that helped us to at least start the process.
There has been talk of late from the UK government about betting within football and being on the front of sponsors' shirts. What do you make of that? I mean, we've had this before with cigarette companies, tobacco, we've had it with drink.
Yeah, I absolutely understand there is a legitimate debate to be had, and I'm certainly not, in answering your question, I'm not being defensive at all. What I would point out, though, with all due respect, is that my industry, and very largely voluntarily, am working with both sports leagues and with the regulators and other stakeholders. We have taken very large strides. We're not on different sides of the fence here. No one wants to see people suffering from a problem with gambling any more than alcohol, any more than smoking, for example, historically. We absolutely take it seriously, and we do have a very strong record of participating in all of these initiatives, and that includes here on the Isle of Man. But what I would say is that it's an adult leisure product. It therefore quite rightly is licensed, highly regulated, and has to be prepared to work with regulators, and that's the way to deal with it. I think that the Premier League themselves have come out and said it would not serve the interest of the clubs or the supporters to simply draw a line under it. So let's together look at what the concerns are and see how we can work together. But the reality is that bans really don't work. All you do is drive a thing underground.
Just finally, you mentioned it already, the likelihood at the start of the new season will not see crowds immediately. That has an effect on you as a sponsor, because quite often the sponsors go to the ground and watch the club. That's probably a little way off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's clearly provided for in the contract. I would very much like to think that in 3 weeks' time I may be able to go over to participate at Elland Road in the actual launch of the kit, the shirt and so on, but that will depend obviously on circumstance both here and in the UK. I'm certainly not expecting to have free passage on and off the island, but it is a major event, and if, for example, the quarantine period on return were to be moved from 14 to 7 days, and this isn't an appeal, it's an observation, then this is sufficiently important that I might then choose to attend that event and then work from home on my return.